Hello, everyone. My name is Rishi, and I'm a backend developer at Lisk. Today, I would like to show you some of the key features of the benchmark for the Lisk Core 2.0 and Lisk Core 3.0, which we have done. So let's start with some performance and scalability metrics for the two versions. Then we'll do a quick dive into the scalability upgrades with the upcoming sidechains. So let's start with the benchmarks. So as you can see, for the block processing, blocks are now processed significantly faster with the Lisk Core 3.0. There's a performance increment by at least 3 times and up to 40 times. So as you can see in the charts, the blue diagrams represent the latest version, and the green bars, they represent the 2.1.6. Next up is the query response. So the blockchain query response are much faster now. Simple query times are reduced by at least 2 times and up to 5 times. As you can see in the diagram, for different types of queries, like get transaction, get account, get block, the query times are much smaller. What this means for the end user is much faster responses and hence a better user experience for the different blockchain applications. Let's also see the block size for the same number of transactions. So as you can see in the graph, for Lisk Core 3.0, which is shown in the blue, the block size is significantly less, almost 10 times smaller than the previous version, which means more transaction capacity and more number of transactions per block. What this means is better scalability for the whole ecosystem. With this, I would like to say how Lisk Core now scales vertically. So initially, the Lisk Core 3.0 will support 15 kilobyte blocks. That's almost 1 million transactions per day. But as you know, with the upcoming Lisk SDK, the latest version, the block size is now configurable. That means we can have up to 100 kilobyte blocks, which we have tested during our benchmarks, and that supports 6.5 million transactions per day. That's a very big improvement, in my opinion. So as you can see, the comparison with other blockchains and our old version of Lisk Core, we have a performance increment by at least 10 times. So the Lisk Core 2.1.6 supports 2.5 transactions per second, Ethereum 18 transactions per second, and Bitcoin 7. Comparing that to our latest Lisk Core, we have now 75 transactions per second. Besides these major improvements, we have several smaller improvements which we have improved with increased efficiency or tweaking the parameters. So now, with the latest Lisk Core, you get faster node restart times. Now we have also reduced the payload size of the peer-to-peer communication network. With this, we also have reduced block production times, and the transaction pool performance has increased greatly. Now let's look how the Lisk ecosystem can look in the future with interoperability, and how it can improve the scalability even further. So with the upcoming Lisk interoperability, multiple blockchain applications will be interoperable, which means they will be connected to each other via sidechains through the main chain. This means the Lisk interoperability will ensure linear scaling with each new blockchain application. Because there is no limit to the number of sidechains which can be connected to the Lisk main chain, this means users can make a new application and connect it with the main chain in the Lisk ecosystem. Let's see an example for this case. Imagine we have 75 transactions per second for one sidechain, and a total of 1,000 sidechains. That gives you 75,000 TPS for the whole Lisk ecosystem. That's a very, very big number. Now, a more direct industry comparison with a very famous smart contract platform, that is Ethereum. Let's look at some of the issues what they have. So currently, Ethereum is really heavy. Why? Because all the computation and storage is done at the base layer, which means every node of the entire network needs to process every single transaction for each smart contract. This gets really expensive as the number of smart contracts increases. And as you can see, Ethereum now have at least 2 million smart contracts deployed on the mainnet right now. So this means all these smart contracts and their applications are competing with each other for block space, and the users are competing with the gas fees with the users of other applications. This created a non-scalable fee market in Ethereum, where users are now paying premium to run their or use the applications. Now let's see how can we resolve these problems with the Lisk ecosystem. So with Lisk, you can build application-specific sidechains. What this means is the Lisk allows developers to build blockchain applications running on their own native blockchains, which means one application equals to one separate sidechain. All these sidechains are connected to the mainnet via interoperability. What this also means is that developers can specifically tailor their applications and their sidechains just for that particular application, which means they don't need to specify extra transaction types or extra state transition functions, just what they need for that particular application. This saves a lot of cost in terms of resources, and the performance of that particular application greatly increases because it's on its native sidechain. Now let's look at an example of 3 applications between the 2 ecosystems. For example, there is an Oracle application, then there is a decentralized exchange, and then there is a gaming application. If these were to exist, and they exist on the Ethereum mainnet, they would have to compete for the block space within themselves and also with the other apps. Also, their users need to pay higher gas fees to get better transaction inclusion in the mainnet. But what if these applications can live on their own blockchains? And with Lisk ecosystem, that is possible. So the Oracle can now live as a separate chain, as an Oracle sidechain. Decentralized exchange can be a separate sidechain too, and so the gaming sidechain as well. This means now these applications have their own block space, and the users have the capacity and the ability to pay the gas fees just for those transactions happening on just those applications. In a nutshell, this makes all the blockchain applications which can be built on the Lisk ecosystem much more scalable. With this, I would like to end this talk. Thank you very much.